Hello Somas, welcome to this somatics class, gentle movement to free your breathing after or during coughs, colds or COVID. When we have a persistent cough, it triggers our diaphragm and our rib cage to move in and down. That contracts our abdominal muscles and it tightens our chest. And it restricts then the free movement of our rib cage in breathing. So we're going to do a sequence to help free the ribs. And also when you've had a cold or any illness and you spend a lot of time in bed, your joints can feel stiff, your whole body can feel sore. So you'll find that this gentle sequence will give you some more relief from that too. So we're going to start seated. Now, if you're still in bed because you're still recovering, then you can do this seated in your bed or even on the side of your bed. But do make sure if you're on the side of your bed, your feet can touch the floor. You may need some extra props. I have a yoga block and you might want a couple of blankets because later on in practice we'll be taking our hands behind our head. And if you need extra support for underneath your arms, then you may want to grab that now. I'm going to change my position so I'm side on, and I'm actually going to sit myself on my blanket. And I've chosen to start side on because if you've been spending a lot of time lying down, it's more beneficial to get yourself upright and just feeling some movements in a different plane, feeling your body in a more upright position. Be really gentle with yourself, don't force any of these movements and enjoy them. So we're going to start with hands on knees, just let them fall and land wherever they feel comfortable. Let your eyes close for a few moments. And just taking some time to tune into your breathing as it is. So don't change your breath in any way. And just sensing, does your inhale feel free and easy? Does your exhale feel free and easy? Where does your breathing feel limited? Place your hands now onto your ribs and just notice if the rib cage is moving as you breathe. So you could try taking a slightly deeper breath in and out here. Back away if that creates any tension. And just noticing as you breathe, do your ribs expand up and out on the inhale, in and down on the exhale. Alright, so just taking that in, releasing your hands back onto your knees. And we're going to move into a flattened position and we'll pandiculate our movements as well. So you're going to rock your tailbone under through your legs. And so you're rounding your spine there. But I want you to feel that you can contract your abdominal muscles to really feel more length through your back. And sense the opening through the back of your body here. And then very slowly, you've got to ease out from there. Letting the belly go. And lifting your head. So remember, what we're trying to do is pandiculate, so tighten muscles tighter than they already are, slowly release them, and then pausing to relax and integrate. So we'll do that again. You can try it on an out breath or just keep breathing and you're going back towards your tailbone scooping your tailbone through your legs, and you can let your gaze drop down, looking between your knees or onto your knees, and just holding and feeling that. And can you gently press your hands onto your knees and feel how that tightens more in your chest and belly, and then ease that pressure off. So we're pandiculating here, and ease yourself up. Ease yourself up. And then we'll try that again. You can breathe out or breathe easy, or as easy as you can. Coming back, rocking down towards your tailbone. And you might even feel your knees want to come up if you are sitting cross-legged. And that's part of the pattern, so don't try and stop that. And pressing the hands onto the knees, feeling that tension increase in the chest and belly. And let's just hold this for a few more breaths. Can you expand without force your breath into the back of your body, into the back of your ribs? And then we're going to slowly release the pressure on the hands, release slowly out. And we're going to pause and relax. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to tilt the pelvis forwards so that we consciously contract the lower back and flare the ribs open through the front. And with your hands on your knees, you're going to just gently draw your elbows backwards towards the room behind you, and let your chin lift here. Let your belly relax, and then we'll slowly let that go. And just notice how smooth or jerky your movements are. And then we'll do that again. You can do it on an inhale, letting the belly relax, letting the back arch consciously and contract. And don't let your hands slide up your thighs, but just keep your hands on your knees so that you really get your shoulder blades to move towards your spine. You can lift your chin, feel the ribs flaring open through the front, and then slowly release out. And we'll do that again. Inhaling, or keep a gentle breath, tipping forwards with the pelvis rather than leaning forward. So just watch if that's happening for you. And flaring the ribs, guiding those elbows, sort of tucking them into the body, and imagine you could point the elbows behind you, lifting your chin, even lift your gaze up to the ceiling, and then slowly release. And pausing, relaxing there. And let's take a moment to reach our legs out. And you can just shake your legs. If you've been seated on the side of your bed, you might want to just try standing up for a moment. Or you can literally just shake out one leg at a time. Okay, so we're going to come back to this position. And we're going to just change the angle of our arms. And as we explore this, if it doesn't feel comfortable, then come back to this position. So we're going to reach the arms forwards, hold on to the elbows, and we're going to go back to this position, moving, rolling that pelvis under, and gently press your hands onto your elbows. We're opening up the back but contracting the belly, the chest. We'll feel that in the ribs, and we'll slowly open up. And then we'll do that again. Coming back. You can let your head tip down. So if you're trying to look between your hands, press your hands into your elbows. And just feel how that opens up the back. And then we'll slowly release. Feel that release. You can let your elbows come down. And then we'll do that again. Lifting the elbows, you can explore bringing them a little bit higher. Find your comfort range here, pressing the hands into the elbows. We'll hold here, breathing into the back. Consciously tightening the abdominal muscles to release the back of the body. We'll take another breath here. And then we'll release out. So the focus very much is releasing the muscles in the chest, ribs and belly today. Okay, so coming back to this position with the elbows, and you're going to arch, and just notice how your elbows lift a little bit when they arch. If this doesn't feel comfortable, keep your hands on your knees. And then we'll slowly let this go. So adding just a little bit more load, deepening that area of that contraction in the lower back, feeling, getting into the back of the ribs. Try folding your elbows the other way, just to give your brain another little challenge. Okay, so you're going to arch and lift your elbows, lift your chin. And again, try and draw your shoulder blades towards your spine. Let your belly go and slowly release. You can let your elbows release. And we'll do this again. So breathing in, tipping the pelvis forwards, let the elbows lift, lift your chin, let your belly go and release. And we can take that into a slow flow. So you're taking the pelvis backwards, rolling back, letting the head drop down towards your knees, and then slowly releasing, and then letting the elbows lift as you arch, and release. Let your hands come onto your knees, and you can breathe out if you roll backwards again, pressing the hands onto the knees. Feeling the belly tighten, the back open up. Slowly releasing. And you can breathe in as you roll the pelvis forwards. Draw those elbows in. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. Lifting the chest and the chin up to the ceiling. And releasing. And you find which hand placement you prefer, which gives you more sensation. Is it elbows folded in front of you? Either press your hands onto your elbows or your knees, depending on the position of your arms. Slowly releasing. And breathing in at the chin and chest lift. Draw your shoulder blades towards your spine, however you have your arms. And then we'll go back one more time, rounding out the back. Holding here for 3 more breaths. Maybe you're holding onto your elbows, maybe you've got your hands on your knees. But pressing either hands onto elbows or knees to enhance that contraction through the front and to create more space in the back. And releasing out from here. So from here we're going to come on to hands and knees. You can literally, you might be on your bed, you can do this on your bed. Or maybe you're on the floor like me. You can cushion your knees if you need to. Let your hands be gently spread wide, never force anything. I want you to try and explore keeping your elbows straight so that we know that we are mobilizing the spine and the ribs. But stay within your comfort range here. And we're going to let the tailbone curl under, rounding the spine from head to tail. And pressing your hands gently into the floor to open up through the back. And then we'll slowly let that go. Let the belly go. And let your head lift. And then we can do that again on an out breath, or just keep breathing, literally feeling your pelvis rolling over your legs, rounding the spine. You can be on knuckles if being palm down doesn't feel comfortable. And sensing again that contraction through the front, but that space in your back, and we'll slowly let that tension out through the front. Consciously lifting your head and tail. And then we'll do that again. And this time we'll hold for 3 breaths. Find your hand placement that's the most comfortable for you. Holding here, can you hug those ribs through the front of you? Hug them in and down. Tightening your belly. Breathing into your back. And then slowly releasing. And then we're going to rock gently forwards and backwards here. Just getting some movement through the hips and knees. You can always stay in your comfort range. You might want to take your hands wider apart. And forwards and backwards. And then, Somas, from here, we're going to come down onto our front. And with your blanket, I want you to fold it so it's as deep as it can be, and it's the same length of your torso. So just take a moment to do that. We're literally going to drape our upper body over this thicker folded blanket. So you may need to pause the recording here to go and grab an extra blanket, or you can use bath sheets or towels. So I'm going to lie down, have your torso over the blanket, and your head and neck is free to come onto the floor, and rest your head on your hands. I'm going to turn my head to the side so that you can hear me. And I just want you to just pause and feel the back of your body opening up here. Just gently draping your upper body over the blankets. And breathing into the back of your body. And I want you to press your elbows down into the floor, pressing your elbows down into the floor, and scoop your pubic bone towards the floor as well. So you're consciously rounding out the back of your body. And then slowly let this go. If you wanted to, you could turn your head to one side. And we'll do this again. So you're going to tuck your tailbone under. If you had a tail, imagine it would go between your legs. And you're going to press the elbows into the floor. Press the palms one on top of each other. And we're trying to engage the muscles in the front of the body again. Imagine you're raking your ribs down your blanket to open up the ribs in the back of the body. Slowly release. If you have your head turned one way, you may want to go the other way. And we'll do this one more time. You're going to press your elbows, your palms, your pubic bones. You round out the back, but you tighten consciously the abdominals, the chest muscles. You might feel your knees pressing gently into the floor. And then we'll slowly let that go. If you have your head turned to one side, bring it to rest back onto your forehead. And can you continue to allow your upper body to feel the support of the blanket, to take some deep breaths as best you can into the back of your body. Take 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to ease ourselves up. Stay with your blanket or grab a cushion. We're going to come into a movement called the side bend, and that's going to free the ribs in the side of the body. So coming down onto one side, so just make sure that you can still see your device. I like to have support underneath my head. You may want to rest on your arm, whatever's most comfortable for you. And try to have a look at your knees. You want your knees to be up in line with your hips and your ankles underneath your knees. Imagine sort of a chair shape position. Okay, so bring your hand into your waist, your top hand into your waist. Make sure you're looking straight ahead. And I want you to take a breath in, a gentle breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to lift your head and feel your ribs and your waist tighten. And slowly, as you come out, feel that space open up. Now, you're going to keep your head down. This is a great movement also for your knees and your hips. You're going to keep your knees together and just lift your top foot. And you want the top foot to stay above the bottom foot and not drop back towards your bum. And feel that you are drawing your hip up towards your armpit. And just sensing that tension there. And as you slowly lower your foot, you're feeling the waist muscles release. And pause and relax there. Now we're going to put those 2 movements together. We're going to place the top hand on the side of your head, elbow pointing up to the ceiling. And can you take a breath in and breathe into the top ribs? And as you breathe out, lifting your head and lifting your foot. So think of your ribs pressing down on towards each other and your hip coming up to meet the ribs. And just feeling that tension, and now you're going to let that tension out. Let's change the hand position here. You're going to reach the arm down. You're going to go straight down, not forwards to the knees, not behind you. We want a clear contraction through the side of the body. Let's take a breath in. As you breathe in, shrug your shoulder up towards your ear. And as you breathe out, you're going to lift your top foot, reach down with your hand. Remember, we want to create tension consciously through this top side and allow the bottom waist to move towards the floor. And then we'll slowly release. And as you release, you're going to let your arm come up and overhead. It may not go straight overhead, it may want to land more forwards. Stay in your comfort range. And then bring the arm along your side again. Choose which hand placement you prefer. And now we're going to lift both feet. Okay, so take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, pick up your head, pick up both feet. Feel that tension, sink the bottom waist down into the floor, and then slow release. Let the elbow point up to the ceiling or the arm reaching overhead. And we'll take a brief moment coming on to our back. Notice how spacious your breath feels on that side that you've just explored. And then we're going to move on to the other side. All of these movements on their own are just a lovely simple practice if you feel too fatigued to do the entire sequence. Okay, so knees up, ankles underneath your knees. And we gave the brain a really good rehearsal on that first side, so we're going to go straight into this on this second side. Let your elbow point up to the ceiling. We'll take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to pick up the head, pick up the foot. And just feeling that tension, letting the waist sink down, feeling that waist, that top waist draw up, and then slow release. Pausing to relax here. We'll do that again. Breath in. Can you open up those top ribs? Breathing out. Keep your breath gentle. Do not force any of these movements. And then slowly releasing here. All right, you can bring your arm along your side. Shrug the shoulder as you breathe in. Breathing out, picking up the top foot. Reaching down. Make sure you're not reaching towards the heel and the heel coming to the hand, because we want a clear contraction through the side into those ribs. Breathing in as you release. Where does your arm want to go? So don't force it. Don't force it. And then you can choose whether you want your hand on the side of your head or your arm along your side. We're going to lift both feet. So breathing in, shrug the shoulder if the arm is along your side. Breathing out, reaching down, picking up both feet, sinking the ribs down. Those bottom ribs down into the floor and releasing slowly. You might be sweeping your arm overhead or lifting the elbow, pointing it up to the ceiling so you get that space through the ribs again. And then from here, coming onto your back. So we're going to bring feet to the floor, and this is where we're going to take hands behind head. And if you feel when you bring your arms behind your head, your elbows are lifted or there's any discomfort at all, then add this support from your blankets or cushions underneath your arm or arms. Okay, so from here, we're going to let the pelvis roll forwards. So you create an arch in your back. We did it in seated, and now we're doing it on the floor. And you want to feel that arch in your back, feel the ribs flare open, and then slowly release your arch, relaxing your back. And now you're going to point your elbows up to the ceiling. And when you're ready to breathe out, you're going to pick up your head and sink your back into the floor and guide your ribs down towards the pelvis. And then slowly releasing out. Feeling the elbows go wide and relaxing everything there. Relax your jaw, relax your inner thighs, and then breathing in. Can you let your head roll forwards? Let your jaw relax here. Let your belly relax and let your back contract. Feel that contraction in your back. Slowly let it go. When you feel your back is released, you're going to point your elbows up to the ceiling. And as you sink your back into the floor, you can do this with an out breath. You're going to pick up your head, look at your knees and see your elbows, or the elbows pointing to your knees. Feel this engagement, this contraction through the belly, ribs, chest. Slowly lower. Elbows wide. And pause and relax there. One more time. Inhaling. We call this movement arch. Let the pelvis roll forwards, drop down towards your tailbone, and slowly release your back. Feel as the pelvis rolls backwards, your head comes back too. When you feel your back is relaxed, let the elbows come up. As you breathe out, sinking the ribs, sinking the back into the floor. Hold this for a breath and releasing out. This movement is addressing, again, that strong pull on the abdominal muscles and ribs and chest with each cough and sneeze that you make. Release your arms out. Let your legs slide along for a moment. And then we're going to bring the feet back to the floor, slightly wider than hips width. Let your arms be a comfortable distance away from your side, but do bring them out from your side. When we sort of cough and sneeze, we tend to kind of have our arms close in. Let's give ourselves a different possibility with more spaciousness through your arms. And we're going to do just a very simple twist, and I'm going to invite you to let your pelvis and knees roll to one side and let your head roll the opposite way. And I want you just to feel space and length through your ribs. Just notice if you are trying to go for a stretch here. And you're going to very slowly begin to bring your knees up. Let your head come back to centre. And we're going to go the same way again. Same way with your knees. Same way with your head. And just gently ease into this. Make it sort of a luxurious movement. And don't go to your end point, just back away from that and come back up. And you can just keep breathing easy, or maybe breathe in at the top and breathe out as you move into this gentle twist. Creating space from the armpit all the way down through the waist and even through that knee, towards that top knee. And then coming up. Pausing here. And just for a moment, let your legs slide along. Notice if you feel a bit more spacious and open again through that side. And then we're going to bring the feet back up slightly wider than the hips width. And the knees are going to go the other way now. And your head the other way, the opposite way away from your knees. And then you're going to roll your pelvis back up, bring your knees back up, your head back to centre. And then you're going to go again, same direction with your knees. Head turns away from your knees. And just feel a sense of spaciousness and length. No force. Make it gentle. Rolling the pelvis back up. That's going to bring the knees back up. Setting the soles of the feet back to the floor. And we'll do this again. Head turning away from the knees. Keeping it gentle. And then we'll come up. And then we'll gently alternate a few times. You could breathe out as the knees go over. You could breathe in as the knees come up. You might want to try that. Or just keep breathing. And actually keeping breathing throughout your movements is a really good way of letting you know when you're trying too hard, because often you'll hold your breath when you're trying to force or go beyond your comfort range. So we'll do this just a few more times, head going the opposite way to pelvis, knees and feet. Keeping it gentle. One more time, each direction. Bringing the knees and head back to centre. Let your legs slide long. Give yourself a moment here, let your hands rest on your ribs and just feel your breathing now. Is there more spaciousness to your breathing? Is there more movement of your ribs? Let your arms fall away. And let your attention go all the way down into your heels. And let your legs go heavy and relaxed. And connect your legs all the way up into your hip sockets. Feel your pelvis. And from your pelvis, let your attention travel all the way up through your spine. Sensing your shoulder blades and down each arm. And allow each arm to feel the support of the floor. And then bring your awareness back into the back of your neck and the back of your head. And sensing the whole of you. And then we're going to slide the feet up, coming around, finding a comfortable position. And And just giving yourself a moment to bring your hands to your heart. And just feeling a sense of appreciation and gratitude for your body's ability to heal, to cleanse. You know, that's a lot of what colds and coughs are about, cleansing and clearing the body of toxins, and being grateful for that ability and that inner intelligence that we have. I hope you've enjoyed this sequence. I'd love to hear your comments. Stay well, enjoy the practice, and I'll share more with you soon. Thank you.